Hello, welcome to Spotlight on Souris, brought to you by WCG TV. Today is March the 12th, 2018, and my name is Laura Higgs. And today we have with us some workers from the Souris Cooperative Daycare. We have on my left Brenda Morris, who is the Personnel Director.
That's correct.
Welcome, Brenda. And on my right we have Amanda Wiebe, who is the Director of the Center. So today we're going to be talking about the Souris Cooperative Daycare, but also correct me because I think we had talked about this before, that it also is an early learning center. Now you want to change the name eventually?
We do. It's a lot more professional when you call it an early learning center rather than a daycare center, just because there's so many things involved. Emergent curriculum, what the kids are doing, the programming. So an early learning center is more ideal.
Yes, because the kids aren't just there to be babysat.
That's right.
There is all kinds of things going on for them to learn, to socialize, to be ready for school.
Absolutely.
To be ready for university.
Yeah. Right? Getting ahead of ourselves.
Seriously, there's so much going on. There's so much for the kids to learn. It's just not a place that people drop their kids off and that's it, right? Babysat.
That's
Pay
right.
my money, come back and pick them up after a bit. But we appreciate you people coming in here and talking to us about the Souris Cooperative Daycare Center, Inc. is the official name, correct, Brenda?
That's correct.
Now, Brenda, you're on the board.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the Souris Daycare?
Okay, well, surprisingly, the center's been in operation for quite a number of years. It was February 1972 when some ladies from the community decided to maybe put something together. And we're going back to like Jean Dornian, I think, was instrumental in it, Marge Ryden, June Kowalchuk, we had Sheila Kirkup, I believe, if my information is correct, Isla Lang may have been the first kind of teacher for the center. And I know I've probably missed some people in there as well, but those are very familiar names around town, and they're the ones that first got it going.
Wow, and they got it going where?
So they started out in the basement of the church. It was where the Bargain Basement Boutique is now. That used to be the center for a number of years. Back in the day, they started it so that moms could get a bit of a break, whether they wanted to go out and maybe get a part-time job or just needed a break away or do some extra
Like doing chores at home? Yeah, okay.
Helping out on the farm, whatever they were doing. And at that time, they charged $1 a day for the children to come to the center.
For one child, $1 a day?
For one child, yes.
Wow.
And more amazingly is when they started, they had 7 full-time staff employed at the time.
How does that happen?
Exactly.
Wow.
How many children must they have had? But yeah, it was quite instrumental in getting going. Went there for a number of years. After a few years, of course, government gets involved and funding and that kind of thing. Regulations start developing, and so at that point, the center went into being a cooperative and a nonprofit.
Okay.
So, things changed as time went on.
And the organization changed as the rules changed and the needs changed.
That's right. That's right. So back it was 1993, I remember it well. I was on the board back in the early 90s, again, when my children went to the center. And in 1993, once again, the health inspector was playing a role in the center where we were, what needed to be upgraded. There was a remarkable amount of renovations that needed to be done to the basement of the church to get it up to code for now, the daycare of the times.
Right.
So at that time, we started looking into a building, and we purchased the old Elks Hall, which is the building we're currently in, and that was in 1993.
Wow. Wow, you've been in there since 93.
93,
wow,
so it's been a long time.
Long
time. By able to move into that center, we were able to almost double in size from when they were in the church.
So the amount of spots.
The amount of spots, yes. So we previously had 8 infant spots, and we still do have 8 infant spots. But when we were in the church, we had 17. But by moving into the new center, it allowed us to increase to 32 spaces. And so that was quite a jump in numbers.
Sure.
In that length of time. So the center now has 40 spots, 8 infant, 32 preschools. Then we went into collaboration with the school and now run a before and after school program. And that has 30 spots for kids before the school day and after the school day, so that parents can, go to work and not have to worry about picking their kids up at 3:15.
Right, right.
Yeah. From there, during the daytime, like the school provided us with 2 classrooms. So one classroom was used during the school day as a nursery school, and the other classroom is used as a pre-kinder classroom. So any of the kids that were in kindergarten, they at that time only go half a day. So one day, or a full day, sorry, every other day.
Oh, okay.
So one day it would be one group of kids, the next day it would be another.
Right.
So we were able to use the space full time, but with 2 different groups of kids. So it was quite a busy place.
So you have rooms in the school?
Yes.
Okay, so the kids go to their classes and then go to daycare right within the building?
Right.
So they don't have to be transported?
Exactly.
Okay, okay, a safety first, I mean, that's certainly important.
For sure, and handy for the parents, because
Right,
a lot of parents working out of town now aren't able to just
pop over on their
pop
coffee
over.
break.
Yeah, move the kids to another
Right,
center, and yes, so
exactly.
it works very well.
Okay,
Works very well.
okay. So what are the fees now? It's not $1 a day, I know that.
It's not, but it's pretty reasonable still. For an infant, so any children under 2, it is $30 a day.
Mhm.
Any child 2 and over is $20.80 a day. Anyone going into nursery school or the before and after school programs pay $10.40 per session.
Okay, so
Per
if they
day.
come morning and afternoon,
Right.
okay. Because some parents can get them to school and then go to work and then they just need after school.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Those costs, do that include their food?
It doesn't.
Okay,
Food is extra.
okay,
If we do provide a hot lunch program for the center, we don't at the school program,
Okay.
but at the center we do. They get a hot morning breakfast, or most times it's hot, so it could be cereal, hot porridge, it could be French toast, it could be scrambled eggs. So it's kind of a breakfast for some, but it's an early snack for others,
mhm.
depending on what time they get up in the morning.
sure.
Then there's a hot lunch provided, and then there is a lighter afternoon snack as well.
Mm.
So parents that choose can pay the center, and it's $3 a day.
Mhm.
If they choose not to have their children participate in the food program, they're certainly entitled to send lunch with their children, and then that will be provided with them for them at the same time.
Right, okay, that would be handy for kids with allergies or specific food requirements. Then the
Right.
parents can send, they know their child is getting
Right.
what they need for themselves. Okay,
Yes.
but the hot program sounds very handy for a busy parent to
Oh.
have their child fed.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and looked after, and the learning that goes on as well at the center.
Well, and
Wow.
Leanne, our cook, she doesn't even, like, a lot of the times, no preservatives. She doesn't use box food. Everything's right from scratch. Like, it's follows the Canada Food Guide. It's very, very nutritional.
Nutritious, good,
Yeah.
good. Glad to hear that. So the programming has changed a lot as well
Oh,
over
for
the
sure.
last 46 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll let Amanda address
There
that.
you go.
or-
Yeah, well, we go by emergent curriculum. It's pretty big, right? It's basing what the kids are interested on and building upon that. So you do a lot of scaffolding and webbing because your interest could branch off in so many different ways, right? Like it could go from you're interested in sun and rain and move to vehicles in a
Yeah.
week span, right?
Yeah.
It all depends on what they like. And we give them the developmentally appropriate tools to be successful in their activities. So that's a bonus too, right? We don't set up for failure, we set up for success.
Right.
It's a big thing.
Mhm.
And it's
Extremely
important, right?
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the educators, they get planning time so that they're able to provide what the kids need. The educators, they do supply 2 emergent curriculum activities a day, and they are more than welcome to provide even more, right? Like we like to go on outings and field trips and have guest speakers and incorporate music and everything and anything pretty much, especially in the community, right? Like even utilizing the curling club and like the skating rink because they do pre-can. So every week we take kids in to do the pre-can skate, which is pretty neat.
Mhm.
Taking a whole group of kids to come on over and
Yes.
get their skills down. So
Okay.
yeah, it's very interactive and yeah, especially in the community.
Okay. So you talked about educators. So are you saying that there's different levels of educated people that are within the daycare?
Yeah,
Okay.
a 2/3 ratio of trained and untrained staff within the building.
Okay.
It's just a licensing requirement. So you'll have CCAs, childcare assistants, mixed with early childhood educators who have went and got their certificate
Okay.
from either ACC or work placement or
Right.
other colleges. So it's
Okay.
definitely a very broad
Right.
group of women working.
Okay. All of them have big hearts.
Absolutely.
I know that. I've met a number of them over the years, but I'm so glad to hear that somebody, I remember raising my daughter and thinking that there's so many important things I want her to have and to see and to be. And, and the daycare, I took her to home daycares, and there's always learning and teaching going on there as well. And I was kind of nervous about a big center.
Right.
Where, they just babysat. But these ones, they just don't babysit. It's so much more than that.
There is so much
Yeah.
more. Like socio-dramatic play is a huge one within our center, right? Like we make sure all of our program areas are to their interests too, right? Because you're going to have science, and you're going to have your language development, and you're going to have housekeeping. And so all of these program areas within the center gets changed whenever their interests change. So all of a sudden you'll have, 10 kids super interested in the post office, right? So all of the workers, they'll do what they need to do to go out in the community, and maybe we're going to bring in envelopes and stationery and stamps and, real life things, because that's important, the
Yeah.
real life aspect of things.
Yeah.
So
not just the things they want to learn, but then their ability to learn.
Exactly.
Every child is also at their own stage.
That's
Is that
right.
not right?
And you really have to be cautious of their age of development too, and what stage and skills that they have, because your activities for the educators providing them are going to have to be broad enough to hit on all age categories, right?
Right.
So you definitely, as a teacher, your teaching style is a big part of coming to daycare.
Wow. Wow, with that many kids too, that's a lot to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Last week they had one of the themes one day was police services. And so the workers went ahead and built a jail, and they had a little desk where the secretary works, and then they had wanted posters. So they took pictures of the children throughout the day, and this child was wanted because they were caught smiling and and so it was pretty exciting for them to be on a wanted poster and having to go to jail for a period of time, but also understanding health or police services within a community and talking about that, learning about that. So the themes are so connected with what they do and what's happening out there.
And also for fun and pretending, because smiling is not against the law.
Exactly.
But the kids know, they're smart, eh? They catch on to that kind of thing, for sure.
Well, and we wrapped it up with having an actual police woman come on into the center and show us, her vehicle and her outfit, and because kids always have questions, right?
Well, it's pretty intimidating.
It is.
Somebody who comes in, with a weapon on their side and in uniform, and they look usually very stern. It's very intimidating. So it's good for the kids to have that exposure early on, and to know that they're people and they can access them if they need them.
Right.
Because that's something that kids have to know.
They do, and they shouldn't be scared of,
Right,
right? Like they should.
right.
The comfortability needs to be there, and the educators support that. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
great.
cool to see.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the history of the daycare center, and that it's not just a daycare center. It is early learning center, is what you're calling it, and eventually want to change it. We should just put that in our head right now. Early learning center, people. Come on, community. We need to remember that. Not just Souris Daycare Cooperative.
Right.
Inc. Center Inc. Okay. Now, recently you went through some renovation, right?
Sure
You had
did.
to upgrade the kitchen because the health department said you needed to do that, right?
Of course, and it's a daycare, right? So you definitely have to operate a certain way. There's always rules and regulations. So our kitchen definitely need to be renovated. We have that lunch program, so it's very, you have to have a certain level of sanitizing going on, and your washing machine probably shouldn't be in your kitchen. So with the renovations, we actually moved our washer and dryer into the hallway, so it was just more conducive for the staff to be able to have those housekeeping duties on the floor with the kids, because when you're in ratio, like one staff to 8 children, on the preschool floor, it's really hard to take 8 children to come into the kitchen to do a load of laundry, right?
Yes, yes.
So when it's kind of right there and easy to operate, good to go, so much more time saving going on.
Yeah.
And the kitchen itself, like with the new dishwasher, it cuts the cook's time in half, and also too with the sanitizing, it's a large daycare, so you really want to cut back on your germs.
Okay.
That's really important.
Yeah, it's a great place to go get something if you want to pick up a germ.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's
Because they all congregate, and they're going to also be involved with their siblings bringing stuff home from school, their parents bringing something home from work. I mean, it's just where it's going to happen, right? So you want to do your best not to spread those things.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
then we also have like it's kind of like a slop sink, sort of laundry sink, and that's mostly where we do all of our toy sanitizing, just so it keeps it separate from the kitchen area, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of what the health inspector wanted.
Oh, yes.
And you just have a proper protocol just so that we keep the germs at bay. It's really important.
That makes sense. That
It
makes
does.
perfect sense.
And so, and even too, it is a beautiful kitchen, and it's very like the way that it's set up. The cook that has come in and is working with us now, she's really good at her organizational piece and everything. So it's a wonderful kitchen. It
Good.
really is.
Good. Okay, what happened to the kids during all the renovations? They couldn't obviously stay there.
They moved. They went down to the school here in Souris, and
Okay.
so they were utilizing the 2 classrooms there. But because I wasn't there, I was on a mat leave. Brenda Morris probably has more information. Not entirely sure what you guys did up there.
Well,
Well,
lots of the same thing.
lots of the same thing.
Obviously.
They literally picked up the entire center and moved it to the school.
And the school, it was over the empty weeks of summer, right?
Exactly.
So,
So the timing was perfect.
yeah.
The board decided, I believe it was in June, that they were going to go ahead with this renovation. I mean, it was the opportune time to do that. The school division has been more than helpful in working with us all throughout these years, and knowing that with this renovation, we were able to make use of their multipurpose room. So we already had our 2 classrooms, so then we were able to move into the multipurpose room as well.
Wow.
It was perfect. The playground was there, so there was. They did move a bit of the playground for the younger children, but the older children got to play on the big structures at the big school,
Yeah.
so that was pretty exciting for them.
Yeah, I bet.
And it was just like attending summer camp.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
very interesting.
while everyone was out of the center, yeah, it was a perfect time to have the contractors come in, do their work, and really cause no disruption at all.
Yeah, yeah. For the center, for the parents, for everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, with the new renovations, new kitchen, the lunch program didn't change at all?
Hasn't changed at all. The basic setup of the kitchen is relatively the same. It's just new. It's all stainless counters now. It is our big separate fridge and freezers. Other than that, the food program, the food part of it has stayed the same. Children still receive the same meals.
Great.
Yep.
That's great. So tell me, this is a nonprofit organization, right?
Yes.
And a part of having your child in the daycare is that you help with some fundraising
Right.
along the way. And besides the parents paying for their child to come to the early learning center,
Yeah.
that's the money that you would make, but there has to be, you need more money than that to function, to keep your building running and everything like that. So the fundraisers you do, and then is there other monies that you get, grants or something like that?
Well, we do receive grants. The grant we receive from the province covers approximately 82% of the salaries paid out at the center.
Okay.
So the center's salaries this year, we have tried to tighten our belts a bit more. So our budget going forward, our salaries are about $410,000 a year.
Wow.
So that's a huge
Yeah.
amount, a huge amount of dollars, a large amount of staff.
Thank
being
goodness you
paid.
have the funds coming in from the government to help with that.
Right, so then the parent fees go to pay the balance of that, plus the operation of the center.
Mhm.
So it's the hydro.
The hydro
it's
bill.
Yeah, everything that goes, it's the purchase of the toys, it's everything
Yeah.
that goes with day-to-day operations of the center.
Right.
So fundraising is usually done on an annual basis, not like it is this year, but basically fundraising is done for special projects. So
Okay.
all of a sudden we need new tables and chairs. We'll do a fundraiser to help purchase things like that.
Mhm.
Maybe we need new sleep mats. Maybe there is, something in the playground that needs to be fixed or purchased. That's the kind of thing we try and fundraise for because there is no money for that.
Okay, so did you raise the money for the renovations of the kitchen ahead of time?
There was, the center does have a substantial amount of money in savings because this kitchen renovation isn't something new. It's been on the radar for several years that they've been telling us annually that, you know, someday this is going to happen, you're going to have to. So boards and parents of the past several years have been saving money. I remember saving money when we went into the center. So we do have $100,000 in investments to do the major renovation. That is very unusual for a daycare to have that amount of money, but we were allowed that because of the upcoming renovation. Normally, a daycare center runs, it's a non-for-profit, so there is that very fine line between having money and making ends meet.
Right.
It's such a narrow margin that the government lets you have, so
Yes.
we were fortunate that we were able to put money aside and have that for the major part of the renovation.
So you still have some fundraising going on now, though?
We do. During the renovations, and like renovations typically are, there's always extra things that you need to pay for, you know, storage for some of the daycare stuff that wasn't moved to the school. There's just all those little extras. While the renovation was taking place, the board at the time felt that it was an opportune time to replace the flooring. There was spots in the center that needed to be replaced because they were cracking and they were breaking up. And there was a certain amount in the budget to pay for some of that. But while the center was empty, thought that was an opportune time to just replace it all. So that was a part of the budget that wasn't planned for.
Okay.
Totally understandable why they went ahead to do it. There wasn't probably a
It
more
makes sense.
opportune time.
Right.
Right. Contractors were already there. Center was already empty.
Right.
So let's go ahead and do it. So
Yeah. So now we're just playing a little bit of catch up.
we
I
are.
guess. Okay.
We are. And once we can get this last bit of the contract off our plates, on a go-forward basis, the center is quite capable of meeting their day-to-day demands. It's just this extra expense that we have now.
Okay.
So once that is cleared off, we are able to, because the credit union is not willing to lend us any more money to pay off this debt to our contractor,
Against your investments.
we aren't able to access our investments because they're held dollar for dollar for our line of credit that we have
Oh, okay.
to pay for the initial major part of the
Right.
renovation.
Right, it's complicated.
It's very
It's complicated.
complicated.
Oh my goodness.
So once we can get this, we say it's the flooring that put us over.
Yeah, sure.
In essence, I mean, so once we can get that paid off, then the credit union frees up our own money that
Sure.
we can pay off our line of credit,
Right.
and that will be free and clear.
Right.
And then we can continue on and.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
The
great.
center is operating very efficiently right now,
Yeah.
and we should be able to, keep afloat
Yeah.
and keep going.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. We all want our kids in a safe, healthy place. And if
Absolutely.
the floors were cracking, it was a great place for germs to hide.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. But you don't want that for your children. You
Well,
want
there
them
were
to be in-
spots where they had to put mats over the flooring because the floor had cracked up, and there was fear at the time that maybe there was asbestos in the flooring. But during the renovation, that was cleared up, and no, there was no
Oh, good.
asbestos. So
Oh,
that
thank
was
goodness.
very helpful.
Yeah, because we have that apparently in our workplace, and it's a big job to get something done. You have to section everything off, and
Yes.
it's a huge job to get that asbestos taken out of there.
Exactly.
Well, that's great to hear that, isn't it? So you still have currently, we're talking about how many spots you have in the daycare. Is there a waiting list?
There is a waiting list.
Wow.
We checked this morning because that changes constantly. Now what happens is there's an online registry, so anyone that wants to get their children into the center, you apply through a provincial program.
Okay.
It's an online registry, and that is how the waiting list is monitored.
Okay.
So first on the list, first to get a spot.
Okay.
So right now we are, as of this morning, we are sitting at 20 infants waiting to get into the center. So quite clear, some of those children will never get to the center as an infant.
Right. So, yeah, I was gonna say, so how long would the first person on the list be getting there? So you could be months or a year.
I think we probably are about 5 infants. By
Wow.
2019, I think we'll be 5 down on the list, something like that. I mean, that
Wow.
could vary, but
That's incredible, eh?
yeah.
The demand is very high for
Right.
infant care.
So is there future plans to expand the
We
early
would
learning
love,
center?
we
Yes.
would love to expand.
Yeah.
We would love to expand. We've had our daycare coordinator out from Winnipeg, or from Brandon, sorry, and she has done a measurement of the center. We have the space. There would be some requirements that would need to be met. We would have to upgrade our bathrooms, add to our bathrooms. We need
Okay.
another couple toilets, a couple sinks to accommodate the extra children.
Right?
But other than that, the general area of the whole center is large enough that we would potentially look at adding 4 infant spaces and 8 preschool spaces.
Wow. Wow. That would also need to increase your staff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, oh my goodness.
Yep. Right now on the preschool floor, we only have 9 on the waiting list, which is pretty good. But that's only sounding that low because Amanda's already gone ahead and done planning for fall for all our pre-kinder kids that will now move into the kinder program. So we have already counted their numbers as being out of the center and already slotted children in, although they won't have a spot until summer.
Right.
They know they're on the list and who's going to get in now.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Big job.
Oh, absolutely it is. And for that huge wait list in the infant section, I mean, probably about more than half of them are going to be, transferred over to the preschool wait list, right? Because, I mean, they're going to 21, that's a lot of infants to be waiting, and you
Yes.
can't change birthdays, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You can't do that, can you?
That's right.
Boy, oh boy. So what fundraisers do we have going on out there?
Well, right now we have a wine raffle going on, and that actually comes to an end on Friday. So tickets are $5 a piece, and first prize is 25 bottles of wine. Second prize is 10 bottles, and third prize is 5 bottles. We have 2,000 tickets we hope to sell. So that will be a great fundraiser if we can try and sell out of those.
I bought mine, by the way.
Right on.
Somebody brought an envelope to work, so I bought mine.
Good. So that's been a quick, easy
Yeah,
fundraiser.
yeah, sure.
Because of the urgency to raise money sooner than later, that was a good idea.
Mhm.
We have a fundraising committee made up of parents that have been working hard at this and trying to get parent involvement, trying to come up with ideas, running, ideas by what we should do, how we're going to do it. So they're working diligently on that.
Mhm.
After the wine raffle, we have a few duties that we're going to help out at Survivor. So we're going to help sell evening lunch. We're going to make salads for them for their suppers on the 2 supper nights. We run a fall to school program, so selling vegetables. So that'll be early in the fall, I guess. And that went over really well last year. So it's basically a bag of vegetables, so potatoes, carrots, onions, depends what package you pick. Potentially, the talk is we might do a Halloween social. It has been done several years in the past and kind of petered out, but we're hoping to maybe rejuvenate that.
Mhm.
We have Vessi Seeds is going on sale right away. We're going to start that program. So anybody that loves to garden and wants some seeds, some plants, some shrubs, whatever, we'll be going around, or we'll be having that accessible for people to purchase. 50% of those purchases stay with the center, so
Okay.
that's going to be a nice fundraiser as well.
Right.
We are happy to bring back Dinner at Your Door. Cougars have taken that on the last quite a few years.
Right.
It was something that was started back when I was on the board the last time, and so it's exciting for me to bring it back.
Yeah.
We don't know
Yes.
timing on that. Maybe we're throwing around maybe Mother's Day, but because we don't want mums to work, but then the mums at the center would have to work unless
Yeah.
we get all dad volunteers.
Yeah.
That would be an option, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of
Yeah.
ideas out there, and I think the committee has a full slate for the remainder of 2018, and
Okay.
We have a comedy show coming up too
Oh,
on
right.
June 3rd. Ryan
Right.
Pandolfi has come to help us out, and Big Daddy Taz. So
Yeah. Wow.
come on down.
Yes. Yes. And when was that? June?
June 3rd.
3rd. Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I also noticed there's a few community people that are helping out by doing their own fundraising for the daycare. The big way, if you put your
Yeah. Put your till receipts
till
in
receipt
the
in a box, then
We
they're
get
going to give a percentage of those.
1% of all the
Yeah,
sales for the
yeah.
month of March,
Yeah.
up to a maximum of $1,500.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I've been
Town-
putting them in there.
Yeah, Town Tire and Auto has, they've made a nice donation, plus they have also come forward with every tire they sell for any light vehicle or farm piece of equipment, they'll donate $5 per tire.
Wow.
Legacy Studio has selling tickets on a piece of her original artwork.
I've been
so
in there
that's
too.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
We've had tremendous support from
That's
the
great.
community, so
Great.
it's been great.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear the parents of the kids going to the Early Learning Center are helping out, as well as the board's doing a fair amount of work, and the community. We're going to get that floor paid for in no time.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Wouldn't it?
We'll hold a dance. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share, or did we cover all of the details that you talked about earlier? I think we pretty much covered everything. All the fundraisers,
Yeah, there's a lot to
all
cover.
the
but I think-
renovations.
yeah.
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I guess I just want to stress the cooperation from the community. It's been great. We've had tremendous support. There was one situation where a grandparent came forward and donated money, which was very touching for me because her daughter and I were on the board together back in the 90s.
Wow.
So that was pretty special
Yeah, I
for
bet.
me to have that, and her daughter's no longer with us, so it even meant that much
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
We have parents or grandparents that have come forward and said, well, I don't have anything to do with daycare now, but you know what, we sure appreciated it when we had it 20 years ago
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
And even some parents are getting involved now. We have a couple new board members coming on that don't even have children at the center yet, but they've heard what's going on, they want to help, they want to be future users of the daycare, and they
Right.
want to make sure it's here to stay,
Oh,
so they've
great.
stepped up, and
Great.
yeah, we have turned that corner, I think, and
Yeah.
I
Things
think
are
we're
looking
gonna-
up.
They're looking up.
Yeah, glad to hear. Very glad to hear. Thank you very much, Brenda Morris, for coming in,
Thank
and
you.
Amanda Wiebe for coming in as well and sharing with us in the community about our daycare early learning center here in Souris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us here at Spotlight on Souris. My name is Laura Higgs, and you can catch us on WCG TV Access Channel 12 and YouTube for our interviews, and if you want to watch this one again, have a great day.